Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Anytime we get together with her, just love hearing what she does to help people heal. What's amazing is it's sound. Sound can heal you. And if you wonder if that's even possible, think about listening to a song or music and how you feel so much better. Maybe you listen to something from the time when you grew up and it brings you back to that time, and maybe that makes you feel in a different positive way. She does that with all different types of instruments, and she's back with us. Barb Sounds on the program. Hey, Barb, how are you?
I'm great, Steve. Thanks. How are you?
I'm well. Good to have you
Good.
back with us. And a lot of times we save the, well, I don't call it the best for last, and then we run out of time for you to play some sounds. So we're going to reverse it and have you do it out of the gate. And I do want to share instant feedback line is instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com. Instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com. If you'd like to comment, maybe share your thoughts about what you felt after you play some sounds. And these sounds are designed to help people. And I'm just giving a broad look at this for anybody that doesn't know about sound baths and sound healing, but to help people heal and feel better, right?
Mm-hmm. Heal and feel better. And that goes for both your body and your mind. So it pretty much is like treats the whole you very holistically rather than one specific thing.
Thank you for bringing up that point, because I always forget there's a physical aspect of healing with that, in addition to the mental aspect. Yeah. So if people have afflictions, not feeling right, back issues, whatever it might be, healing from surgery. If you have some pain, this can help you there too. And I guess it's another blanket statement that just like with energy healing, right? The sound goes where it needs to go to heal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I can play for all the wonderful people that are watching today, and the effect of the sounds will be different for each person.
Which I find just, it's almost hard to get my mind around that, but that's the beauty and the magic of sound healing, which oh, by the way, has been around for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thousands of years, actually.
Yeah. All right. So why don't we have
Okay.
at it, and you're going to get to the gongs, and then we'll talk after.
All right. Super. I'm going to play for about 10 minutes.
Excellent.
And I'm just going to switch my video so people can see the studio from a much better. Whoops.
We're waiting for her video to come back there, and just, we'll share that she has different camera, different microphones set up in another part of her studio in Canada. I don't see your video, and I don't know, maybe
now
if
my video is off again.
Yeah, maybe we need to do that. I just sent you
Let's do
way to
that.
turn it back. There we go.
Okay, there we go. And now you can see my studio.
Yeah, Zoom video has its own mind. It does what it wants.
Yeah, well, computers too go wonky sometimes.
Sure.
All right, so let's play.
Excellent.
So I invite anybody who's listening just to close your eyes. And while I'm getting started, just take a breath or two, really deep breath in through your nose and then out through your mouth. And when you breathe out through your mouth, you're just letting go of all of the stress and all of the problems and all of the thinking and being and doing that you've been doing for the past day or for the past week or month or whatever. Okay? And now we'll start.
And there you go. That's Barb Sounds with sound
Mhm.
healing from her studio in Canada. And wow, just an amazing mirage of sounds. And we have instant feedback just like that. So I'm going to get to that if that's okay.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have Gina, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, checks in instant feedback, steve@gmail.com. She says, I'm just learning about sound healing. I felt a sense of calm from what you played. How do you know what to play?
That's always the big question, but that's a really good question, Gina. I get asked that a lot. Um, it, people who play the instruments that I play, like the gongs and the singing bowls and stuff, have very different styles. For me personally, because it's very connected to my spiritual practice and my other energy healing modalities, like I am a Reiki master. So that was my first sort of training in energy healing, and sound healing is really energy healing. But I play intuitively. So I don't the thing with playing the gongs and the bowls is that there's no one place that you can hit to get a certain note. You know, if you play a key on a piano, you get that same note the whole time. But if you hit a gong or you hit the
Hmm.
bowl, each time you hit the gong or the bowl, you get different sounds, because the sounds of those instruments, they're called harmonic, because you're not just hearing one note, you're hearing like hundreds and thousands of notes. And that's part of why it's so powerful and why it can relax your body and your mind really well. So it's not like, I mean, I can't really even practice playing because there's nothing to practice, you know. Like, it's not like I get used to playing this chord or that chord, or this pattern. So when I play intuitively, I'm basically just sort of channeling the energy through me and into the gongs and the bowls, and then they come back. It's like a dialogue, it's like a dance, and they come back with their own sounds. And so I'm the sort of conduit in between whoever is listening, which would be you and Gina and everybody else today, and the instruments. And so it's just a beautiful thing. And I love it because it's different every single time.
I was just going to say that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
everything you do is always going to be different. And
Yeah.
and it was this time different because you hit or used wind chimes. I guess we'll call them that
Yes,
at
at
the
the
very
end.
end. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
what I picked up on was that they modulated with whatever gong had sustained its note. And it was an interesting kind of like, whoa, wow. It was almost like sprinkling a little pepper on top of a meal, you know. It was that got me. I got to tell you, that's the part. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
just
the
pulling.
chimes that I Yeah, the chimes that I was playing are called Zafir chimes, and I also play koshi chimes, which they're made out of bamboo, the koshi ones. But these are chimes, really beautiful chimes that are now sold worldwide, and they were invented and first created by this guy that lives at the foot of the Pyrenees Mountains. And they're the most beautiful. I call them fairy chimes because it puts you in that really otherworldly kind of thing. And they're really good to play at the end of a sound bath, because when people get really, like, when I'm doing a full sound bath that's 30 minutes or an hour, you're really in a very different space. I'm holding sacred space for you, but you're also in your own really
Yeah.
deep, calm, peaceful space. And the chimes are so gentle and so light, that they just kind of help to bring you back. They help you to kind of just wake up from the sound bath a little
What you
bit
said is what
gentlier.
I thought in that you
Yeah.
call them fairy chimes. I'm not kidding. When I heard them, the first thing I thought it was Disney. It sounded like something from a
Yeah.
Disney-esque production, and I had that feeling. And then right away my mind gravitated to times when I've heard wind chimes and why many of us like them. And I never
Hmm.
realized, I only just started learning about this type of energy healing not too long ago, a couple of years, whatever. Um, but why do we like wind chimes? It's music. It can be healing, And I don't know if the wind, if you're like the wind in terms of, or the wind is like you, in terms of just playing what needs to get played at that moment. But many times when you hear a wind chime, you're like, oh, whoa, all right, yeah, I'm gonna stop. That's There's something there. It's relaxing.
It's I mean, chimes for us as music are more similar to the other instruments that I play in that there are no specific notes and there's no specific pattern. So it's not like when you hear a song or you hear somebody playing, an instrument,
Mm,
because those are like sort of linear and there's a pattern to them. And the chimes are really the same as the gongs. They play differently every single time. And, there's 8 little rods in each of those chimes, and then a little actually made out of crystal, thing that hits the rods. But you get harmonics. So each rod vibrates and
mm.
it makes more than one sound at a time. So it's different than listening to because when we listen to a tune, our mind gets involved. If you listen to a song or even classical music and opera music, it's a song or you get to know it, and your
Yeah.
mind is doing it, along with the music in your head. And so you're following along a very linear, this, and then this. And when you're listening to the chimes, they're never going to play exactly the same way as they just played today.
And it gets
Same
in
with
the
the
way.
gongs.
It gets in the
Mhm.
way if you know the song because you anticipate what's coming next, even if it's a live version of a song that you know, your mind is already focused there. But
Yeah.
here, anything is possible. It's almost why a lot of us I will listen to music from other countries because I don't know what's coming next and
Hmm.
I don't understand the language. So
Yeah.
to me, the vocal is more like a an instrument.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think like chanting is really the same in whatever spiritual practice it's done in. And I chanted for years with a wonderful Hindu group in Toronto here, and the chants are all in Sanskrit. And every single time they did a session, people would be, going up to them and afterwards and saying, "What did that mean? What did that mean that we were singing?" Right? And they said it doesn't have a meaning
Okay.
because in Sanskrit, the syllables are actually sounds. Like they're just sounds that have a spiritual meaning, but there's no logistical, involve your frontal lobe. There's no thinking in it. So you're just chanting syllables, and there is a tune that you repeat, but you know
How do
that
we
leaves
know?
your mind from associating everything with it too, right? Because when we listen to songs, we associate it with how we're feeling at that exact moment we first heard that song. Everybody knows that, right?
Hmm.
And then you hear an old song and you're like, oh my God, that's the song, when I had my first breakup and my heart was broken. And then you feel that, like you feel that all over again. And the
Yeah.
words will do the same thing. And even when you're hearing a new song, you're thinking about it. So the beauty of these sounds from these instruments is you're not thinking. You don't have to think, and that gives your brain a rest. And that is so incredibly beautiful.
You just made something come very clear by saying that. And that's where the calmness comes in.
Hmm.
You get a rest because you're getting what you need, that just euphoric, relaxed feeling, and you don't have to do any work. Because when you are listening to a song that you know, you're doing work in the
Hmm.
background. Your mind is doing
Hmm.
work. I know what song that is. I remember when I last heard it. I know what's coming next. Oh, here's a guitar solo. This is just, and that's just, we're just scraping the surface here. We're not even getting into the how the energy goes into you and heals you. We're just about out of time. So I'm so glad we played first, where you played first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, how do we connect with you? And you do group sound baths virtually. You do individual healing sessions as well. How do we find you, Barb?
Yeah. If you want to go on the group sessions, I play virtually, so anybody pretty much in North America and other parts of the world can tune in at the same time. So the group sound baths, you go to barbsounds.eventbrite.ca. If you want to book a personal appointment with me, or even do a 20-minute just consult, which I do, which is free. If you want to learn more, you have specific questions, go to heal.me/barbsounds. And the other place that you can, learn a lot is to go to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/@barbsounds.
Just funny,
And
funny final thought. There's a music venue near me, and some artists come play there, tribute bands and such, right? One night I'd love to bring you in there and put you on and have the reverse of what people are doing. Instead of like moving around dancing, like, yeah, having a great time partying, all of a sudden everybody's like, ah. And
Yeah.
it's like complete silence and people just in a massively chill mood, which nothing wrong with either of them, but it's just a different dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing. So, and I just love playing. So yeah.
And I
You
love
arrange it and I'll come.
Yeah. I'm your booking agent. I'll get that done.
Yeah, you can be my
Yeah.
booking agent.
Now appearing.
Awesome.
Barb Sounds now on tour. Don't miss it. Barb, always great talking with you. Thank you for all the
Super,
insight
yeah.
on what you do, and truly looking forward next time we get to hear you play and get to talk.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.